Thank you, and welcome to this presentation. Today, I would like to talk about how technology can minimize carbon footprint in software deployment area. And maybe as a subtitle, I would say that how large companies like Siemens they try to be more sustainable and how they can minimize this carbon footprint. Before I dive into the problem, let me introduce myself and say a few words about our company. So my name, as you can see, is Matej, and I studied informatics at Technical University in Košice. I joined Siemens company almost 10 years ago during my studies. I was just in the second year, I guess. And currently I'm working partially as a software developer, Scrum Master, and really trained engineer who knows safe. Regarding Siemens, probably I don't have to say much about Siemens. It's a worldwide well-known company. And Siemens Healthineers, we are designing and manufacturing medical devices. In Slovakia, it's mostly software, but not only. Maybe some news are coming soon. And worldwide, we have 68,000 employees. And in Slovakia, we reached 950. And before I start to talk about sustainability and about carbon footprint and how we save things, let me say a few words about business. We have, as Jan said, we have such big machines, for example, MR. And what this machine or what this project consists of, at the bottom in this big case, in this big magnet, there is hardware. It's more or less normal computer, probably a little bit faster, better than yours. You're playing some games on at home, but it's normal computer. On top of that, there is operating system, mainly Microsoft, maybe Windows. On top of that, there is application framework, middleware, which is also developed by our company. And on top of that, there is application. Here it is, MR application. While developers they focus really on this application, MR application, they have to do a lot of stuff. And with this application, they have to deliver hardware with the system. They have to upgrade hardware during product lifecycle. After how many years do you change your laptops or change some components in your laptop? After a few years. This happens as well with MR or any other software or project. They have to ensure compatibility between application, operating system, and hardware. And they have to integrate new operating system versions. Even long-term support versions from Microsoft, it's 10 years, and then they have to change it. Operating system hardening. We're in medical world. Everything has to be very, very secured and very strict. So every open port, everything has to be closed, everything has to be hardened regarding operating system. They have to install software during production. This I'm going to talk more about a bit later. They have to provide some means to upgrade application. If there is some new version every 2 or 3 years, they have to upgrade it in field, in hospital, somehow. And they have to also provide some means to patch applications. So if there is some bug, it can happen that we found some bug, or they have to patch some operating system. They have to patch .NET frameworks and so on, what we are using. Last but not least, they have to collect hardware, some data, to some tools for some predictive maintenance. So they know that something is going to happen with the hardware. They need to change something. They need to fix something before it really happens. That was MR. Regarding CT, there is hardware, there is operating system. Of course, I'm not going to talk about this. It's all the same. They have to do duplicate things. And in Siemens healthcare portfolio, we have several of these medical device providers. We have MR, we have computed tomography, we have X-ray products, röntgens, we have radiation oncology for curing cancer, ultrasound, PET systems, AT, laboratory diagnostics, and a few more. And all these medical device producers, they're doing basically the same things with some slight differences, but basically same things. And then we started to think how to improve this, how to be more sustainable. And we started a few years ago a project. It's called Common Host Platform, CHP. And with this, we cannot do anything with the application. If you're talking about MR, CT application, it's something beyond our knowledge. And there are developers and managers and these projects are talking with experts from the field, doctors, consulting things. And we cannot do anything about this. The same goes for this middleware application. But the rest we can ensure and the rest we can do. And our kind of a motto is that just give us your binaries and we'll do the rest. And together with that they don't have to deliver hardware. They can just specify some performance for application and we can choose the hardware for them. We are ensuring the compatibility between hardware and operating system. Of course, operating system comes pre-hardened. So not the MR, CT, XP, ultrasound, and all these medical device producers, they can do it by themselves, but we can do it for them and they can just pick what they need. Fast factory installation process. This I will talk about a bit later. Field upgrade. If they have some upgrade of the application or some service packs, we can do it and we are enabler that it can be done remotely. That nobody from customer service department goes there and install it, upgrade it, but we can do it remotely. And of course, some predictive maintenance tools for catching something if something is going to happen. Maybe now you're asking how are we doing it? And I will get to this slide a bit later, but let me say a few words about sustainability, and then this slide will make more sense. Why and how is this sustainable or more sustainable? We're trying to be common solution. So not that this medical device producers do it by themselves, by itself, but I'm trying to be service for the whole company. And since they don't have to do all that stuff which you saw on the right side of the previous slide, they can focus on innovations. They're focusing on MR, CT, and their applications, and they can, instead of doing that stuff on the right side, they can focus on innovations. And the same goes for us. Since this is our primary matter of like something what we are doing, we can focus on innovations. And this one solution, which some people, even from our company several years ago, said it's not possible to do it remotely, we can prove that it's possible. And this one solution opens door to new common feature called all these producers of medical devices. How it's sustainable, that one team handles one system for X products instead of that X teams handles X system for X product. And they're doing all the same. And they've saved time, saved resources, saved money. And again, they can focus on innovations, which it's driving the world now, IT world. Since we are in medical world, security is really, really huge and very important aspect of all this. If there is something broken in some game, let's say, maybe you don't pass some level and you're frustrated, but if there is something happen in such medical device, it can be fatal. And with security, we can prevent situation like, for example, like on a ransomware attack. Maybe you remember, it was, I guess, 2017, and suddenly, once in the morning, many IT companies, and not just IT companies, were affected, and they were hacked, and hundreds of millions of dollars were stolen. And why? I don't want to say that people or developers were lazy, but they were focusing on their innovations, which is good. But they made a mistake, and they really paid hundreds of millions of dollars. And what happened, they really could prevent this very easily because operating system provider released patch for this vulnerability 2 months before this attack happened. And we are the ones who are scanning this if there is some new security update from, for example, operating system provider, and in, let's say, a few hours, they can just hit a button and they can have a secure operating system. Again, we're in medical world, so we have to really be compliant with any quality regulations. We have to fulfill any regulatory requirements. And we are the one who can ensure this, and they don't have to care about such things. And yeah, maybe you're saying to yourself that, okay, it's nice, it's something that you're doing, it's in general, okay, sustainable. What about some numbers? It's something that we did, and I guess that this is very nice. We shorten installation time. How? What installation time is? It's consists of two things, packaging time and deployment time. Packaging time is something that we put software together in factory, and deployment time is something that it's delivered to the hospital and installed in a hospital in MR, CT, XP, and other softwares. And we shortened this packaging time to 1/10. In hours, it was from 12 hours to 1 hour, 20 minutes. And in deployment to 1/8, from 8 hours to 1 hour. And how? What's happening, or what's happening even now? I mean, it was in past, I remember this, but sometimes even now, while 12 hours. In factory, this installation, this packaging time consists of manual Windows installation. That's the first thing. You have hardware, insert DVD, and doing Windows installation. You probably know it. Next, entering product key, setuping, welcome, preparing everything for you, done. Then you have to install drivers. Then you install the middleware I was talking about. Install Visual Studio, redistribute well. .NET framework, some security updates for .NET frameworks, for for operating system. Database, we are dealing with patients, with data, so everything has to be stored. And on top of that, application software. And at the end, we created a ghost image. What's ghost image? It was exact copy of the exact hardware, which MR application runs in hospital. We created a copy, and then we could distribute it to the hospital and install it in the hospital. This whole process took 12 hours. For some, this medical device produces less. For some more, in average, more or less 12 hours. And this was really done manually by somebody like me, like you, clicking, inserting DVDs, and so on. How we did it? Now it's in average 1 hour 20 minutes. It's an automatic unattended pipeline. And more of that, it's always ISO image. So no DVDs, no CDs. We can do it automatic and attended. And regarding deployment and installing this in a hospital or even in our labs while we're testing it, in the past it was really step-by-step manual how to install everything. So there was somebody from customer service with a bunch of DVDs, and there was a manual: start the computer, open CD-ROM, insert DVD, close the CD-ROM, blah, blah, blah. And all this stuff really, which took more or less 8 hours. For some producers more, for some less, more or less 8 hours. And what's also cons is that the examination or screening was blocked for 1 whole day. We're talking about 8 hours, it was blocked. Now what we're doing, and what we did already, we can boot from SD card or even via network, and whole deployment is unattended. So nothing really, nobody has to sit in front of the computer, clicking next and next, and everything is unattended. And it's save time in hospital, not disturbing physicians or patients. So it means, very simplified set, if they start this installation at 8, at 9, they can continue with screening. That's not that simple, of course, and there is some challenges like device calibration, since we are doing something with hardware. So after there is some upgrade happened, there it has to be calibrated. But since we can and we can do it remotely, then this is something that maybe developer of these applications can focus on. We dramatically improved the development cycle. You can imagine that if this whole end-to-end testing with packaging and with deployment took 1 whole day, 12 plus 8 hours, more or less, it was not possible to do this change, do this testing every time. And it was happening, I remember this, once in 2 weeks, once in a month. And during this, let's say that this timeline is 1 month, and there were some probably new commits, new features from applications. They were tested on some standalone application, and everything was working fine. There was some new update, new fix for middleware application. They were also, developers tested it on their systems. It was done. It was working. Again, some security updates from Microsoft. Developers from Microsoft, they were tested it, and it was fine. Some upgrade of hardware. Everything's working fine. But then we did this whole packaging and deployment, and it's not working. Why? Nobody knows. And what we did, and we shortened this installation time, and not just shortened, since it's unattended, then every time there is some change, if there is some fix from middleware application, if there is some hardware upgrade, if there is some new feature for MR application, every time this loop can be done, and we know what's wrong or why it's working or why it's not working. Here the root cause is obvious, and the fixing is very easy. So we shortened this installation time, and as I said, we did everything that it's possible to do it unattended. And even deployment can be in a CI/CD pipeline. So it means that every time they push something, for example, developers from MR, they push something, they can trigger this pipeline, all this process, end-to-end testing is done, and they know whether it's working or whether it's not working. And how we are doing it, we are providing service for our partners. We call them partners because we have regular sessions, meetings with them, where we sitting together and planning some new features. So they are our partners, and we created for them small applications, CHP client. We call it CHP client, and they, through some simple API, they just pick what they need for their application. So they need Windows, for example, version 1809. They need this and this net framework they need, for example, this now is October, so they need October security updates for Windows. They can choose hardware, what they are using. They prepare drivers for this hardware. They can use custom scripts. They can define some local users, admin, whatever they need. And then in basically in 1 hour, 20 minutes, more or less in average, we deliver ISO image to them. And they can then deliver, or they can use this ISO image in their pipeline, and everything is unattended, boot, and after 1 hour, they can work with this. I thought and I hope that I convinced you that this is much more sustainable than it was before, and it was about sustainability. I started with carbon footprint. Maybe for you, that you're maybe faster thinker, and you already know, for those who are like me, a little bit slower, then let's say how this carbon footprint is minimized. We were using, and I remember this with my short work experience, that we used tons of CDs, DVDs in the past. Now it can be only ISO image all the time. If you imagine that we are worldwide company and we have machines and our products everywhere in the world, and we really had to distribute every upgrade, we had to distribute this software to any hospital in the world, and everything was done on these CDs, DVDs. And now it may be only software, so no plastic anymore. Products all around the world. As I said, we are enabled for remote installation, update, upgrade, anything. It's not that simple, since we are in medical and everything is very strict, very secured, closed. It's not possible to connect to the internet. There are some ways. And since we can do it remotely, then we can save traveling expenses. And you can imagine that, so maybe here in Europe, it's maybe customer services in every bigger city. But for example, we have hospitals in Australia and South America, where this customer service can be hundreds of kilometers. So if something is happening, if they have to fix something, upgrade something, they really have to buy a plane ticket and travel to them. Again, as I already said, we are one team that handles one app for X teams. So we save in computers and electricity. And it's not just one app, it's a whole system, it's a whole solution for all our medical device providers. Some numbers to impress you. And this was shocking one for me when I calculated it. We shorten installation, every installation, which is in every computer, in every device, in hospital. And let's say that we have 100,000 installations, which we have much more actually. And we shorten this installation from 8 hours to 1 hour. It's 700,000 hours, which in calculation, it's 80 years. And it's not just one-time action. It's every 2-3 years, there's some upgrade, and this is saved. How carbon footprint is minimized? Troubleshooting. As I said, if there was some new operating system version coming or security update, every this medical device producer, they had to test it, that it's not breaking anything for their application. And now we can just do it, and they're just using it. So it's very simple for them. And the second thing, which were they did it in the past, this whole installation just once in 2 weeks, once in a month maybe. And if something was not working, it was really painful to investigate why it's not working, because there were so many changes from application, from middleware, from hardware point of view, from operating system, that it was really difficult to investigate it. I remember from my experience, I was in one of those projects that we did this, I don't know, after 1 month maybe, and it was not working. And we had to postpone release maybe by 1 year, and we was not able to find it. And we were struggling with finding such solution. Now it's very easy, since every time you can do this end-to-end test. And I was thinking that now what they can do with this save time and save people, I would say that they can buy some bicycles and do some cycling and producing some green energy. At the end, I would just say that even small team and small projects can lead to really big savings. Resource, money, time, resource and time is money, and carbon footprint. For example, CHP, our project, has only 20 members and management already included. And maybe I would like to talk more about how we achieve such improvements, what technology we are using. But they told me that I have only half an hour, so it's not possible. Maybe next year. So let's discuss afterwards, or contact me, or if you have more, I don't know, you would like to have more information, or if you would like to join us, then you are more than welcome. So here's some contact information, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions? You can use the Slido and post the questions which you had, but maybe you explain everything. Anybody wants to go work with them? Not yet? Okay, you? Okay. Jana is looking forward.
Perfect. Absolutely.
She doesn't understand technology at all. Is that
We talked
okay?
about modeling before.
Can you? She wants to work, but she's willing. She's like.
She's willing. That's the main part.
Okay, but what are you looking for? What are you looking for right now? Maybe what are the types of people you are looking for to move to Košice?
Well, we're looking for any type of people. We're looking
anything.
For software developers. I mean,
basic.
IT.
I do basic. I do basic. I was programming on Commodore 64.
Well, apply. Send me your CV or apply to our.
Okay, my CV says Jano Gordulic, and I do basic.
Do basic.
Mm-hmm.
Basic what?
I'm basic at basic. Yeah.
You're basic at basic. Well, then maybe do something, learn something, and then in some time.
Okay, can you specify what you are working on? Like maybe somebody will be interested for you in that. What you specialize?
Well, I'm working in this project, and I'm developing. I'm a software developer, also Scrum Master, and also real estate engineer. That's very specific.
And is there a position at Siemens Healthineers who just focuses on like keeping the energy and CO2 down, or everybody's trying to do that together?
No, I mean, we're not directly focusing on it, but when we were thinking about and preparing this presentation, we just realized that we are really doing it. We're really saving this, minimizing this carbon footprint, and with all this, what we are doing, we're trying to be more sustainable in the market because it's technology, and since we are combining all the stuff into one project, then we're trying to be more sustainable.
Okay, thank you very much. That was the last speech today in this room. Thank you.